Greetings. I'm Dr. ZaLonya Allen with the National Entrepreneurs Association, and I'm here today with Milton Duerod, founder of Motion Realty and valedictorian for Cohort 10 of our Entrepreneur Bootcamp and Certification Program. How are you today, Milton?
I am doing well, and thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining me today. This is a really exciting time because we're here to talk about how you became valedictorian of our Entrepreneur Boot Camp. But before we do that, tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, as you may have heard, I am Milton Duerod. I am the founder of Motion Realty. Motion Realty is a real estate brokerage, and in Motion, we're committed to helping clients achieve their real estate goals through integrity and through expertise. We were founded in 2006, and we built a reputation on personalized service and professional results. Whether you're buying, selling, investing or leasing, we leverage our decades of experience to help you achieve your goals with seamless success, with seamlessness, basically. And we also, what makes us different is that we offer solar solutions to help you save money on your expenses and also to increase your property value. So at Motion Realty, we don't just move properties, we move communities forward.
All right, that sounds amazing. And you've been doing this a while. So tell me
I'll be
what.
celebrating 20 years next year.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So tell me what made you want to sign up for an entrepreneurial training program with all of the years experience that you have?
Well, I believe that you can never stop learning and you can always better yourself. And I've always strived to get better in whatever I'm doing. And in this case, is becoming an entrepreneur. I wanted to get better at learning how to do business and how to do business differently. The environment of business is ever changing. So I want to make sure that I'm on top of my game and on top of things that I can help so I can help customers better as well. So that's why I wanted to take this excellent course just to get better, basically.
Yes, continuing education should always be the part of your entrepreneurial journey. I know some people think that once they've been in business for 10, 20 years, they don't need training anymore. So regardless of whether you just started a couple years ago or you've been doing this for decades, you can still learn something. Tell me specifically maybe one or two things that you've learned from the boot camp or that change your perspective, maybe to make you want to do something differently.
Well, what I appreciate about the boot camp in and of itself is that it starts from the basics, right? It starts with the mindset, entrepreneurial mindset. It's different from an employee mindset. An entrepreneurial mindset, which I had to develop over the years, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of perseverance, and it's thinking out of the box, basically. And I also enjoy learning about the company structures. Although I knew about the company structures, but it was a good refresher. But not everyone starts at the same place. So you have all these people in this cohort in class, they're starting at different places. And so you make sure Salon, you make sure that you covered the basis for everyone, make sure that everyone's on an even path. What I learned a lot about was when you covered social media. Yeah, I've been using some of the tools, but there are some tools I had never had a chance to use and I became accustomed to using them through the cohort, and I became, I guess I started to get an expertise because I was able to take my time and use them and get used to them. One in particular was the when you were talking about the project management tools. I started using Trello. I'm like, oh, I've never really had a chance to use Trello, so I use it in class, and now I use it every day because it really helps my business. And I think another thing that really helped me was when you talked about the financial statements, right? You have the expert talking about the financial statements, the P&L, the balance sheet, the cash flow. Yeah, I've used them and I've done those in the past. Even, in business school, we learned that. But I've always had either an accountant or CPA do those statements for me. But it was good to dig in and do it myself again. And it sort of reminded me on, why I got in business in the first place. So there were a lot of things that were covered in the course that I really, really appreciated.
Yes, we cover a lot of information in 9 weeks, and looks like you picked up something from every module. But you mentioned that foundational piece, which is so important because I like to use a metaphor and say you're building your business like you're building a house, and you need a solid foundation to stand on. If not, you're going to build something up that's going to fall apart in the end if you don't have that strong foundation. So that's what our boot camp is designed to do. And we always have people who have epiphanies like, oh, I'm not handling my finances correctly, or I'm not taking advantage of legal opportunities just by the way that I have my business structured. So we find that people change the way they have their business set up in terms of entities just because of the legal advantages. So, what is one big change that you made in your business as a result of talking to all of these amazing experts?
Well, as I mentioned before, I started using Trello for my project management where I never used it before, and that's helped me. But what I also learned from hearing from the experts in your class is how important trademarks are, right? And so I had never really considered that and never really considered trademarking some of the things that I've done or my name. And even to go deeper into searching and to finding out how to protect my business. There are a lot of things that I've learned that in the class that I'm now take advantage of, like protecting my business and learning more about the financial structures, and I'm going to be writing more pro formas because I'm also a developer and I want to go to larger heights in development. So that's going to require more pro formas. So I'm going to take advantage of the financial statements and financial structures that we learned in class to better myself in that area as well.
All right, sounds great. So let's talk about this title of valedictorian.
Okay.
So, what that means is that you graduated with the highest score in the class. So, was that a goal of yours, or is that something that just kind of happened? Talk about your experience in becoming the valedictorian.
Well, if I'm going to talk about that experience, I guess I have to talk about how I approach learning. When I was in college, I sat in the front of the class because I wanted to absorb as much as I could. I figured if I'm spending my money, I want to get as much as I can out of it. And that's the attitude I took with this course. Even though I've been in business for almost 20 years, I took the approach that, you know what, I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to make sure I absorb as much as I can. So everything was very intentional. I made sure I participated in class, and that got me more, I guess, more involved in the subject matter. And it even brought up more questions once I was able to, I guess, voice my either opinion or ask questions in the class. So it was a very intentional approach. And so I guess it just happened that I scored the highest, but it was very intentional that I was going for it.
Awesome. So I had a mentor who used to say, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I find that our valedictorians tend to make excellence a priority in everything that they do in their business, in their personal life. So I believe that's intentional, even if it's on a subconscious level. So for people who are maybe thinking about taking a boot camp and not sure, maybe they think they know it all already, or they don't have time. What advice would you give them? Because we're actually starting cohort 11 tonight. So, what advice would you
Oh,
give
excellent.
to entrepreneurs thinking about taking an entrepreneur boot camp?
I would say come in with an open mind. Expect to learn something, even if you've gone over it time and time again. Open up yourself to accept something new and accept something fresh, and then you'll better yourself by absorbing things. And because if you're open, you will absorb things. And then even if you're not absorbing things right away, help others, because helping others helps yourself. They say that the best learner is a teacher, and I'm sure you can attest to that, Dr. ZaLonya.
Yes, I can. And that's awesome. And I think that's one of the best takeaways, not just what you learn in the boot camp, but the people that you meet. It's your tribe. You know, everyone's an entrepreneur. Can you just talk a little about your experience with your partner in this course?
Dan, Dan McKinley. Hey, just shout out to Dan. He was wonderful. He works his security company, and we had maybe discussions or texts at least twice a week, and we encouraged each other. And he was a great help for me because there were some times where I might have felt down or might have felt distracted doing something else, living life. But listening or hearing from him or hearing or reading his text, it really sparked my day and really made me feel better about the things that I was trying to achieve. And it just reminded me that, you know, this too shall pass. We'll get over this and we'll keep striving. So it was really helpful to have a partner because, as you know, being an entrepreneur, it feels lonely. A lot of times it feels lonely, so you have to have that dedication to whatever you're trying to achieve. You have to have that perseverance because there's going to be those days where you're going to feel so alone, it's not going to be funny. And then when you're successful, sometimes you're a target, right? So there's that lonely feeling again. So having someone in your corner, even though is a business buddy in this class, but it was really he was a genuine person. He really helped me along.
Yeah, you made some excellent points there. Having a partner helps to inspire you, keep you encouraged, causes you to look at things from a different perspective, just having those conversations. And they can see blind spots, things that maybe you didn't see. Les Brown says you can't see the full picture when you're in the frame. So it's always great to have people around you, that can help you see those blind spots. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're out of time already, but I have to thank Comerica Bank, our lead sponsors. Um, that help cover, the cost of all of this. We bring in amazing experts. So thank you to Comerica. And as valedictorian, Milton won a brand new computer. Have you had an opportunity to open that and play with that yet?
I have, and thank you so much, Dr. Allen, and thanks for Comerica for such a exquisite gift. And I wasn't expecting all the showers and all the gifts. And I didn't expect to be valedictorian. I just knew that I was striving very, very hard. And like I said, it was intentional that I learned as much as I could. It's just a good feeling to be rewarded at the end of the day. So thank you very much to yourself and Comerica.
You're welcome. And the valedictorian, we want to celebrate you. This is not easy, so you deserve to be recognized for your work. So thank you again for joining me. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.